What up? What up? Let me turn the music down. We keep a little music on. How's it going, guys? Hello, hello, hello. As I'm sure everyone knows, we are currently in maintenance. So that is why I'm live. Just a couple things to start. If you are a streamer and you are reacting to our stream, that is totally fine. I just want to mention that every time because I get asked a lot. We are totally fine with you reacting, watching on your stream. If you want to go get a bite or whatever and leave it up, that also doesn't bother us in the slightest. In the end of the day, we do these to answer questions and get information out to as many people as possible, not for ad revenue or anything like that. Yeah, we don't mind at all if you restream or anything like that. I just wanted to mention that first. For everyone else, as I mentioned, we're in maintenance for a bit. They're getting some fixes in and some other important stuff. And with that, I wanted to go live and hang out with you guys, answer some questions. So I'm here to answer questions. There's gonna be some stuff, guys, that well, first we'll go over the announcement, by the way, first. But there's going to be some questions, guys, that are just like super common repeat questions that are like answered on the wiki or something like that. If they're longer, I'll skip them. If they're fast, I'll really quickly mention them, just so you guys know. Please explain the bug. Which bug? Are you referring to the bug that we fixed yesterday? The like kind of bigger one, the banned bug abusing one? I assume that's what it's about. I say that because I'm asking you if that's what it is, and I realize that I don't remember what your name is, and so I'm gonna miss even if you say yes or no anyways. So essentially, again, the QA team handles this kind of stuff. I'm obviously involved to a degree, but they understand these things 100 times better because they're troubleshooting it, trying to reproduce it, stuff like that. Essentially, it was a bug where going in and out of your ship, it like made certain buffs stay up. I don't believe indefinitely, but like significantly longer. And so what they were essentially doing was they were doing certain buffs, going in their ship, and I think they were doing something when they were in their ship and then leaving their ship to have these buffs stay up longer than intended. To be clear, there was a lot of cases of players doing this unintentionally. Some players that did it unintentionally like multiple times, because at the end of the day, it was very real. Like it was a thing that can just happen. It wasn't hard to do accidentally. It kind of just could come naturally to a lot of people. There were people that were intentionally abusing this, and those people have been perma'd, or if it was very severe. If it was kind of like more on the moderate side, most of them got 30 days, some 7. There were some cases where people benefited from it, but we are very confident that it was not like intentionally or repeated. Granted, that doesn't mean that it didn't happen a few times, but based on the data that we were able to go through, that it was not like they were nefariously continuing to do it, as many people were, or not many, I shouldn't say that. In the end of the day, there was not a ton of people in general, but these ones that were more nefarious, they were banned permanently. Just so you guys know, this is something that obviously a lot of games don't actually punish people that do bug abuse, especially when it's just, things like that. Like obviously most games, if someone's like doing something like duping or something, yeah, they'll perma them, of course. But oftentimes they will just look the other way with a lot of stuff like this. I just think it's important. The reason why we share it is so that you guys do know that we are dealing with it. And then we take these kind of things very seriously. So if you are abusing a bug, just don't be surprised when you get permanently banned or banned for a very long time. Obviously, even a 3-day ban this early into a launch of a game is kind of a big deal for people that are playing very competitively. For many of them, it is like kind of that death sentence that they won't be, at the top if they're trying to be at the top, right? If these are players that are like, okay, I want to be in the top 0.1% or whatever, this is a death sentence to that. So, yeah. Instance housing plots. We have instance housing plots. If you are asking about houses, that will be coming very soon. You guys can check out on our news post on the website. We've talked in great lengths about it. Yeah, so anyone who is asking, where's my small house? Yeah, we're working on it. Again, in the end of the day, we have to prioritize things that take priority. And, you know, when people, you know, on one side, people are upset that there was a crash on a certain channel. And then one person's upset that they don't have hotkey remapping. And then one person's upset that they don't have a small house. You got to understand that everyone has something that they're upset about, and we need to prioritize in the order of what's most important, right? So if you're upset that you don't have hotkey remapping, sit tight. It's on our to-do list. But handling server crashing or handling, you know, a rollback issue or something like that, that will always take priority for us over, for example, having an instanced small house for you guys. Again, right now that is like top of our priority list in terms of development, but we have to prioritize when other things come up, and that's just the nature of game development, especially on a live service. So. From now on, because we were very, sorry, somebody asked, are you going to ban scammers from now on, or are those from a few days ago? It will be from now on. To be clear, guys, very early on, we had a stance that, like, well, one, listen, I'm an MMORPG player all my life. I have friends that have played MMORPGs for like 30 days, and even them were smart enough to know not to just send somebody money without anything in return or any middleman. I understand that some people maybe don't have that level of like curiosity or I don't know what the right word there is for that. I don't want to say something mean, obviously, but I understand that some people don't like, they don't think anyone on the internet could have a nefarious intent. I was actually kind of surprised how many people just give somebody 100K to a random person on the internet and think that they will just do exactly what they said. That I will say that kind of surprised me and probably most of our team, how a lot of people will do that. And that is, you know, with that, we made very clear that, like, listen, we can't be all of your guys' big brothers. You know what I mean? Like, people are going to scam you on the internet. That is just the way it works in any game. And, you know, while some games say they take action against scammers, the reality is they probably don't. They probably have a few examples of it. And if they do, that's insane. And that's crazy, because the truth is, like, a lot of big games don't even have like in-game GMs to deal with botters anymore, and they just don't even care, where we do. And so the idea that, like, we can do that plus dealing with every single person that gives someone 100K and they don't give them what they asked for, seems impossible to me. But kudos to the teams that can ban every single person that gets scammed. That's crazy, and that's really insane that they're able to do that. And so we were very clear early on that, especially because the truth is, like, when we launched, like, our support team was just not big enough for the amount of players we had. It was not even big enough for a fifth that amount. And so that is why we did scale up our support team, and like, significantly. And with that, we added the middleman service as well, because again, we understand that, you know, you guys still want a way to be able to transfer a house. Anyways, we have decided that we will ban people that are scamming, doing house scams. I should be more specific, just because we feel now that our support team is kind of on top of things and we're able to do this and help with this. But in the end of the day, guys, this is an MMORPG. If you are new to MMORPGs and you've never been scammed before, I'm sorry. I know it's a painful lesson. I've been scammed many times, especially when I was younger in MMORPGs. I've seen most scams. Again, I really apologize if you're newer to this genre or newer to online games or the internet in general, and you got scammed. That does suck. And it hurts. It hurts a lot the first time it happens. But it probably is a good life lesson. And while it does suck, and we wish it didn't happen, and we wish that a scammer didn't do that, it probably is a good life lesson. But again, as mentioned, we will be now punishing people that do a land scam based on the criteria that we laid out. So if you are attempting to do this, you now know we obviously cannot retroactively do this, because we were very clear originally that we just did not have the capacity to deal with this at the time. And again, most games, if you get scammed in them, will not go through your 15-minute video and ban that person. That is very uncommon. But we are now in the position where we believe we can help with that. And again, in the end of the day though, guys, use a middleman. I've seen a lot of people that say, like, oh, I should have used a middleman, but I got scammed. Can you do anything? I'm like, you knew, you just didn't want to pay somebody 10K to help with a middleman service. In the end of the day, guys, if you're at all, like, nervous, just pay someone 10K and have the middleman or help. Like, we have approved middlemen. We've said if anything happens with them, they will be banned and you will be compensated. However, just because we ban a land scammer, we're not going to go through and grab their land and grab your silver and all that kind of stuff. We will ban them. And I think that is a deterrent for most. But if you're going up to like a min level player, giving them 150K or 200K, just understand, like, that's probably not the most wise thing to do. Just like if somebody emails you saying, hey, I am the heir to Dubai, I want to give you inheritance of my fortune, just send me 1 Bitcoin. I also encourage you not to do that as well. Yeah, Adult is super suspicious. Please add an NPC to sell junk items, for fuck's sakes. There is an NPC to sell junk items. He is in the main city. He's right at the gate, the north gate. But I appreciate your aggression on that question. Can you talk about the way trade packs are going? I don't know if the scenario was expected, but a lot of trade packs become almost unprofitable because of the number of players delivering. So yes, trade packs are based on a supply and demand system. If you are trying to deliver a trade pack that everybody else in the game is trying to deliver, it will be worth less. I encourage you to look at the trade packs that have gone up in value because it is fully self-balancing. So if one trade pack goes down, all the other trade packs go up, vice versa. The reason we have a system like this, guys, is because obviously it is very easy to min-max what the best trade pack is at any given moment. So it's important to have a supply and demand system. So if you are like, oh, this sucks, the trade pack that I've been spamming is not worth a ton of money anymore, maybe you need to change your game plan and try and do a trade pack that is not spammed as much, because maybe it means that your trade pack is a little too easy to do and you need to be creative and try different things. But we don't have plans to make every trade pack worth the exact same amount, because we think that leads into the problem that you're kind of having. We believe that leads into a new problem, which is where some people just only run the exact same trade pack forever, and that's just kind of what they do. We feel like that makes for a very boring game. If every trade pack is at 70%, I encourage you to check other trade posts, because some trade posts they also have supply and demand. All trade packs and trade posts have supply and demand. So if you are looking at a trade post and you're seeing 70% on all of them, it is likely that another trade post is offsetting that. Yeah. When the lock trade post will be available, it's based on a percentage of players at a certain threshold. So they will open up once a significant enough of the player base is able to reach them. We implemented this because in past betas, what would happen is the top 1% of players would have an enormous advantage because they could go to trade posts and make trade packs that no one else could. And they were able to essentially make a shit ton of money because of that. So that's why now we have a blocker where it requires a certain percentage of the player base to reach a threshold, and then they open up. We are aware of a bug with some properties showing they are available, but they're actually inactive and unavailable. Again, it is on our list to fix. There's not a huge amount of these properties, but obviously if you even see like 1 or 2, it's like, oh my God, I want to go get it. And so we understand that it's annoying. But are we in slow mode? Is chat really moving this fast? We're in a 2-minute slow mode. And it's still moving so fast. Let me reset profession points. So I'll mention why you cannot reset profession points. So in Ravendawn, there are certain talents in the profession tree that increase your EXP. Obviously, if we allowed you to reset your profession points, people would take these, push their professions, and then switch out of them to take non-EXP ones, which is obviously a huge loophole in the entire system. That is not to say that maybe in the future we will change this, or maybe we will change those talents out and allow a reset or something. That's not, I'm not saying that won't happen, but I just wanted to explain so everyone understands. Give one time reset. I get that as well. This will be asked every week. They'll say, give one more reset, give one time. listen, I've been an MMORPG player all my life. Okay. I understand how these things work. Yeah, unfortunately that is why. Again, that is not to say that we might not change those talent trees to be a little bit different and then allow resetting in the future. That very well might happen. But that is like not a priority right now for us. Do you guys think about giving us the option to customize the interaction hotkey? Yeah, we will have hotkey remapping in the near future. Again, in the end of the day, guys, like, you know, the first week for us was just working on scaling servers and infrastructure and making sure we had enough servers up for the amount of players that we have. And then after that, it was making lots of optimizations and fixes for the amount of servers we have, right? Like with that, when you scale up by 4 or 5 times the amount of players that you can have on, you also have to make lots of optimizations and improvements to how that all works. With that, other problems come. So really, like, while we've obviously every day had in fixes and changes and stuff like that, we also every day have been working on optimizations, server infrastructure, stuff like that. Keep in mind that we're not even, well, we're very close, but we're not even 2 weeks since launch, right? A lot of games will have certain issues that will last for 6 months, a year. And that is not our goal. And that is why we are working so much around the clock, 7 days a week, still 2 weeks after launch. And that likely won't change until we are on top of all the really things that we think are super important. Yeah. I was going to say that list is long because we think a lot of stuff is really important. Yeah. Is the player base still increasing? I don't know if you saw the queues yesterday on Seraphine, but yep. Again, I think I've talked about this a lot before, and I've talked about it with our staff. And most MMORPGs and most games, after they release, their player base tanks a lot, because and I think whereas ours has continued to grow for 2 weeks. Which is very unusual in MMORPGs and games in general. But I think MMORPGs probably more so. And I think the reason why is like 2% of our, like 2%, maybe less, of our reach was non-organic. 98% was organic reach. And I think when a game has a very large marketing budget, like a New World or Lost Ark or most, I guess, bigger AAA titles, when they have a very large marketing budget that is like either the same size as their development budget or sometimes more, I think it's more likely to see that huge spike of players on launch day and then a huge tank, because in the end of the day, you are finding a way to target every single person in the world and get them to at least have eyes on your game, right? And they're also able to do it in a way where they make it look like a different game 100 different ways, right? So they're able to target, FPS players by showing like, okay, you can shoot a bow like with an actual crosshairs in this game, right? And they're able to target, every single demographic in a very effective way. But in the end of the day, games still only appeal to a certain crowd, right? And so I think that's why you see such a big drop off, and I think that's why you see a way bigger marketing budget in buy to play games, because they're usually able to get that money, and then that player realizes not the game for them and quits the next day. And yes, some refund, but a lot just don't. And I think that's why we've seen the opposite effect for Ravendawn, because I think we just didn't have the marketing budget a lot of games have, but we have what we believe and what I think most of you guys believe, a really, really fun game, and a game with really good gameplay loops, and just something that's really satisfying. I think something that's been very much needed in the MMORPG space for a while. And I think that's why we've seen us continue to grow. That's obviously incredibly exciting for us. It's incredibly encouraging for us. It's given us the confidence to scale up the studio quite a bit. We have hundreds of job applications to go through right now. And if anyone in here is looking for a job, I know a lot of the industry right now has done some pretty huge layoffs. And so I know a lot of people are looking for jobs. You're welcome to apply with us, tavernlightgames.com, HTTPS, whatever. And you're welcome to apply, because, we will be looking to scale up. I think that's that was kind of the recipe we followed, and it worked, which is just a recipe of hopefully making a good game. And yeah. Can you talk about Bus Nerfs coming soon? They're in QA right now, like they're testing it today, and then they will be posted tomorrow morning, assuming that we do the patch tomorrow morning. Otherwise, it'll be the morning after the latest. Looking for group, make it legacy level 15 plus for the resellers. Yeah, we will have that in during this maintenance. That's one of the changes coming in. That was just sometimes something slips your mind, and that was one of those situations where we obviously had level restrictions to global chats and stuff like that because of RMT, and we had the looking for group channel and just totally slipped our mind that we need to add the minimum level to it. Those things happen, right? And yeah, we are on it though. Just so you guys know, a lot of people post how beta players have this advantage because they've played 1,000 hours before, and they know the game better and stuff like that. And okay, they got LAN before me and stuff. I'm at the point, I'm getting pretty close to a breaking point where if you really want a participation ribbon, please feel free to go into some subreddit that is not ours and ask for one. I'm sure there's a subreddit dedicated to this. But guys, in the end of the day, if someone's played 1,000 hours of a game over 4 years and you are saying that's not fair, that they are farther ahead than you, I don't know what to say. Life is going to be really tough though. Life is going to be really hard for you. I also understand though that it sucks not being able to have a house in a game, that a house is a core mechanic to the game. And that is why we are adding houses to small land. But in the end of the day, I don't know what else to say to you other than like, life's going to be hard if that's how you approach everything in life. But again, I also agree that it sucks. You know, it's a game where housing is really fun and it's a big part of the game, and that's why we're adding it, but we cannot add it any faster. You know, for every one person saying they want their house, another 5 people are saying, oh my God, this channel crashed. I'm furious. I want a refund, stuff like that. So please just understand that, you know, it is not like we are sitting around not doing anything. The entire team is very tired. We are all working pretty much every minute. And there's not more we can do. Right. And I say this because in the end of the day, we have a very fun game here, and no live service game has ever done development. Well, no game really, but especially a live service game is never done development. You know, there was things on launch day that people were upset about, like, oh my God, I'm in an 1,800 person queue. You know, we open new worlds, right? Oh my God, there's so much lag all the time. Okay, we solved that, right? There's no consistent lag anymore. Now it's like, okay, there's world saving lag, you know, which we had huge improvements to and we're still making improvements to. There's always going to be a new problem that is like the world, like the sky is falling. And we get that. That's part of what we signed up for as game developers. It's part of what I signed up for by doing a live stream like this or being in the Discord chat all the time. But I hope you guys understand that, like, there will always be something you'll complain about. And that will never change. And we just hope that you understand that, like, getting upset and getting angry does not make us do things any faster at all. And it's fine to, like, voice your concerns about something and saying, like, hope you guys change this. Before you voice a concern, please just read our announcements or read our news posts. I believe, keep you guys in the loop on pretty much everything all the time. I don't think there's been a day that hasn't gone by that we've given, like, clear updates, consistent updates. I don't think there's a day that's gone by that I haven't sent like 100 messages in the Discord general chat, if not way more than that. I think we do a really good job keeping you guys in the loop, which I don't think a lot of teams do. And keep in mind that is a lot of time for us, right? Us typing up announcements and doing news posts and stuff, like we do put a lot of work in this. We translate into multiple languages, we prepare graphics, like we, you know, make sure that we do the announcements properly. And we have a lot of other things we're juggling too, right? To be clear, we think it's very important that we keep the community updated. I've played many MMORPGs where like a week goes by with like big issues and you don't hear a single word from the developers, and it's so frustrating. And that is why we are so communicative. But please don't let that communication feel like an opportunity either, because I've noticed that anytime I go in to respond to like important questions in like the Discord, it'll be followed by 10 people pinging me, hey, where is this quest? Or I'm confused on this quest, or how do I plant a potato? And so please just understand that. And I know many people will say like, oh, just ignore them. And I get that. But when I get like spam ping, like I still have to open it, read what they said until I realize I should ignore them. You know what I mean? So in the end of the day, like pinging us. Also, if you want the quickest way ever to be blocked, tag a bunch of our staff. Sometimes people open tickets and they go in and they instantly tag every single person in our team, and we just delete the ticket and usually time them out. And then they message us 5 minutes later crying that their ticket got closed. Just don't do that. It's, you know, when there's 15 of us answering different people and different issues and one person tags all of us in one ticket, it's very frustrating. Anyways, I don't mean to rant more, guys. That's not why I'm here for the live stream, but I do think it's something that's important to do a little bit of PSA to everybody, as well. Just so you guys all understand, some of those things. Yeah. Dharma, we love it when they do that. Yeah. Reset for reputation tree. There is no max limit of reputation in Ravendawn. If you feel like you took one thing wrong, do not panic. It is probably not worth starting a new character over because there is no maximum reputation. So you will, in theory, be able to unlock everything eventually. Yeah, so don't panic. Till when is the maintenance going on? I believe they schedule it for a 60-minute maintenance. I think we've been pretty good on hitting all of our maintenance kind of time frames. Sometimes they go a little bit longer if something comes up. But yeah, I believe it's scheduled for 60 minutes. Do you guys have plans to release new servers? Okay, I'm gonna be super clear about this, guys. Okay, I'm already regretting it. I haven't even said it yet, and I'm already regretting it. We have no plans right now to release new servers. If we did release new servers, again, I need to be so clear. We have no plans right now to release new servers. If we did release new servers, actually, no, I'm not even. No, I already realized I'm making a mistake because I'm going to say something that's going to get clipped. Never mind. Can't share. Sorry, guys. There's too many people in here. You guys are going to run away with it. Yeah, don't even say it. No, I appreciate you. I'm just going to leave it at that. We have no plans to release new servers. And that truly is, I would, if we did, I would tell you. But I can't unfortunately respond to any questions like that because I know what the ramifications always are, which is people running away with it immediately. So. Why do you put maintenance mode in peak times? So the crazy part of time zones is that actually in some places it is like the middle of the workday or like afternoon or workday, which usually when you do like a maintenance stuff, there's a lot of stuff to prepare before. There's a lot of work that has to go into it. Then you do the maintenance and then you need some time after while people are still, you know, awake and around. I understand that if in your time zone it is peak time, and I apologize for that. Unfortunately, there's 24 hours around the world where for some people it's the middle of the night, some people it's the morning, some people it's the middle of the day, and some of you guys it is prime time. Please understand that just because it is prime time for you does not mean it's prime time for everybody. And in the end of the day, even if it was prime time for everybody, we have to do a maintenance when it works for the entire team. You know, we actually wanted to do this maintenance at about 10 o'clock this morning. So like 4.5 hours ago, 10 a.m. But we weren't able to. We had other things that we felt we had to get in. They needed to be QA tested. And so we did the maintenance as soon as we could. Keep in mind that part of our team, especially like our lead engineer, is from Europe. For him, it is almost midnight. He is not excited that we are doing maintenance at 2 o'clock either. But in the end of the day, it is the time that we were able to get it in for, and we didn't want to wait until 2 a.m. In the middle of the night to do it. So please just understand, though, that, again, you might be in a primetime area, and I'm sorry if you are, but there's more parts of the world than just the part that you live in. Yeah. Still working on Polish version. We've always said that we do plan to have a Polish translation one day, but that is not something that is like a priority right now. And it does involve the programmers to do. There's a lot of exporting stuff that they have to do. And so we don't plan to have a Polish version soon, but we do want to do a Polish version. We've always said like our next languages that we want to localize in are Polish and then Spanish. But localizing an MMORPG, guys, is a lot of work. There's a reason why a lot of MMORPGs are not localized, because it is a lot of work. I mean, shit, Tibia is like 30 years old. 90% of their player base is from Brazil, and they're still not in Portuguese. It's a lot of text in MMORPGs. There's a lot of dialogue. It is a lot of work to do. So, you know, yeah, we hope to do it. We know we have a huge percentage of Polish players. I believe it's like, yeah, 20% or something like that. It is a huge chunk. We get that. But just because we agree doesn't mean we can make it any faster. Brazil loves you, bro. Oh, thank you. We've been talking a little about carnival stuff. So maybe we have like a carnival bandit or something in the game. Have plans for a VIP channel? If you mean in game, it's probably a good idea, to be honest. And maybe we will. I know a lot of games that have like a sub model, they have something like that. Carnival parades with wagons, imagine. Yeah. Now, you and your team are extremely responsive to game breaking bugs and overlooked mechanics like aggression timers. What? And overlooked mechanics like aggression timers. You have a faster turnaround than almost any development team I've seen after 25 years of playing. Appreciate that. I thought at first you were like angry at us because you had overlooked mechanics like aggression timers. I'm not sure what, but I think you're trying to comment. So I appreciate that. Or you're being 50-50. Either way, I appreciate it. I'm sorry, I'm so confused. That message had me going through like a loop. Are the servers up already? Oh my God. I'm going to lose all of you. No fun. Let's go through a few really quick things, guys. We plan to improve the agro system. To be clear, the poll about what content would you guys like us to see develop next, dungeons were like 60% of the like, I think we had like 5,000 votes or some shit on that poll alone. Thank you, because it was like a 10-question poll. It was like 60%. So take with that what you will, but it was a very voted thing. Obviously, an agro system would have to be polished first. So take with that what you will. Yeah. Also, anyone who's getting FOMO, panicking, oh my God, I'm not going to get medium or large land. We are working on something for this. We have a plan that we really like now. I mentioned that we've been going through a bunch because it is not as simple as everyone thinks. Everyone's like, oh my God, just instance the lands in the game. Oh my God, just add it on the... I assure you guys, this is something that we've loved this game and the development behind this game for 7 years. These are like, usually when you guys think it's so simple, if it was simple, we would do it very quickly. But we have a plan now that we actually really like, but it is going to take some time to do that. We have to do a huge restructuring to make it happen. But if you are freaking out, like, oh my God, I'm never going to get a medium or large land. One, you very well could. A lot of people are buying land because of that. But anyways, don't panic. Okay. There might be a little bit of time that you don't have it, and the top 1% of people playing 20 hours a day will have it. Okay, maybe they earned that, right? Maybe that's fair. But don't think that forever you're not going to, because we do have a plan already. It will be on our priority list after we add houses to community land, okay? But we do already have a plan. And so please just, while you can be upset that you don't have one, and a player who's played 1,000 hours in the beta and 20 hours a day does, please also understand that we do have a plan that we are working on. It will take some time. It is a very big task. It is not a day or two of work for a programmer. It is a lot of programmers, a lot of QA, a lot of work. Yeah, just so you guys know, everyone's still here. You guys should be playing. So log in and you can still ask questions and hang out with me for a bit. I won't do a super long stream today. I'll host somebody or raid somebody or whatever the correct one is. I still don't understand really the difference. I think they still have both, but I will host or raid somebody after this. I will do somebody that I've never done before, just so you guys know. We have so many new streamers, and I want to make sure that everybody at one point gets a raid. So once I'm kind of done here, probably in like, I don't know, anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes, I will shoot you guys over to somebody. I will try to find somebody who hasn't been streaming for like a really long time, just because, just in case they like are going offline soon. I know we have like a handful of streamers right now that are at like 20 hours live, which is, by the way, like the biggest flattery of all fucking time to somebody who has hardcore grinded MMOs a lot in my life. That is like the hugest compliment ever, because I know that feeling of like just playing nonstop, and or wanting to play nonstop, let alone the actual playing nonstop. And that is like probably the biggest flattery that I or anybody in our team could ever have, is that you feel the want to do that, because I know that's not only a special feeling, but yeah, a unique one. Were you top 0.1% in WoW? I was on Mistweaver Monk in Dragonflight. Show logs? I genuinely can. You can tag me in the Discord. I think I just have a screenshot like in my personal folder here. I'm not going to open it because I'm always so paranoid streaming that like something's going to go crazy and 18 windows are going to live capture and shit. I don't know. Like, I know that's not really possible because you have to like, but I'm just always paranoid. So I don't open like important shit. But I do have a screenshot on the WoW leaderboards. Or whatever, Drusvar, that's the one, the PvP leaderboard. Anyways, that's weird. I don't want to be like, somebody asked me, okay? I'm sorry. This is cringe, I know. I'm sorry. Will we get more leaderboards? We do have plans for leaderboards. Check our roadmap. Also, guys, in terms of our roadmap, there's certain things that we wanted to get in earlier. We wanted to get in Guild Wars and Guild Forts basically 3 to 4 weeks after launch. Kind of like now we probably wouldn't have anyways, just because of just the current state of like what level brackets people are at. But also we'll have some fun player data we'll share probably the next week or two, just showing like, yeah, a bunch of fun stuff. But I guess, yeah, so it's not really pushback at all, but just so you guys know, like we're tackling a lot of things that we didn't expect to tackle, right? The changes to community land, the making sure people can get medium and large land, even if it's not available, stuff like that. These are things that are a ton of work. We also have something else really cool coming, guys. I'm really scared to talk about it live on stream because we're working on like a really nice graphic and stuff for it to make sure it's really, really, really well understood, because people are going to see it and their impulse reaction is going to be bad. Oh no, see, I shouldn't even have said that. This is something that we ran through with like a lot of big content creators, all of the Ravens watch and stuff, to make sure that it is something that is only good for the entire game. But yeah. All I can say is I'm very confident that 99.9% of people are only going to be hyped about it. Yeah, I fucked up. Got to talk about it. No, I am actually, I probably shouldn't either because it could impact the game economy a bit. But I am 99.9% sure that you guys are all going to love it. We shared this with like 20 creators and like 80 other like players, and there was not a single, like there was a few people that were like first like, oh, is this the, and I was like, no. And they're like, oh, okay, no, it makes sense. And they all loved it. Shit, I probably shouldn't even said that because now I'm scared. Don't leak, creators, okay? Because you're gonna not share it properly and then they're gonna like riot or some shit. But we think it's a really fun feature and a really cool feature that you guys are gonna love. So prevent it, share now. No, I'm sorry. Cause like, I feel like it does need like a graphic and stuff so people like truly understand it. Cause even if I like explain it over voice, it just doesn't like come across the right way. It's very easy for me to like make a mistake is basically it. Where if I have like a nice graphic, which we're working on one right now. Yeah, we're going to be allowing insider trading, between, I'm trying to figure out a way to bridge that as a joke in Ravendawn, but I can't. I'm sorry. Is this game full loot? It is not full loot, no. Can you give me more silver? Yeah, just send me your character name. A side effect though is you might get blocked. Probably has to do with NFT. It has nothing to do with NFT, no. Super Bowl pick this year. I mean, the pick is 49ers. Listen, I've been a Chargers fan for all my life. The fact that the Chiefs are in another goddamn Super Bowl infuriates me. I cannot believe they made to another fucking Super Bowl. It's insane to me. It infuriates me. It's all in like good fun. I think sports are fun when you get really invested in them and you really care about a team and hate another team. But in the end of the day, it's all good fun, right? Some people, they genuinely, like, it ruins their lives. And that's fucking weird. But in the end of the day, rivalry is fun. Competitiveness is fun. I've always loved it. But the fact that it's Chiefs 49ers is gross. I was really hoping the Ravens would make it. If it's not gonna be the Chargers, which it probably never will be, I've always wanted Ravens to make it, especially now that it's a fellow Harbaugh as the head coach. But the fact that the Lions didn't make it either is really sad, especially when they had it. It will be that will be the only day that you guys might not get constant messages from me. Because I will be watching the game. Great Sword skin. Male version of Great Sword is done. They are working on the female version as we speak. I think they have half of the female version done already. What did you do before Arcline Ravendawn? Before that, I did a couple different jobs. I picked cherries, which was getting up at 3 a.m. and picking cherries for 12 hours in trees. I did windshield repair. It was like you kind of ran your own thing and did like mobile windshield repair and stuff, which I actually really loved. It was a ton of fun. It was my first taste of entrepreneurship, which I obviously very much liked. And then after that, I worked a desk job doing kind of like finance accounting stuff, which I absolutely hated. And that very quickly showed me that I never want to work that kind of job. And that is when I started getting my feet wet in game development. How can you be a game director and be so fit? Goddamn. Appreciate that. Thank you. I'm fine, but I still play like American football, and pretty much everybody I play with is more fit than me. So I appreciate the kind words. But yeah. Adderall, I wish. I don't know if Adderall makes you it makes you skinny, or it can. I don't know if it makes you fit though. Can we lower channels? So one of the, not biggest, sorry, I was about to get really hyperbolic there. A lot of people already complain that there's like too many people in their spawns and shit. And so right now we do not have plans to do that. However, we've always said that as the level brackets spread out more, we will reduce the amount of channels and increase the player capacity per channels. Just because, you know, as more of the world is inhabited, it, you know, same amount of players feels like less. And so we will reduce that. But right now, as we are still most days hitting queues, and that is, to be clear, we're hitting queues and we've increased the server capacity with optimizations a ton. So the queues we were hitting like a week ago, we are still hitting almost the same size of queues, and we have way more server capacity. So that's crazy. How did you do art? I'm not an artist. We have a very talented art team though that does art. It is all pixel art. Will it be possible to do breeding community land? It will be. It is already on the to-do list for pretty soon. The art is awesome. Thank you so much. We have an incredibly talented art team led by an incredibly talented lead who has been with me for like 7 years now, or probably almost 8 years now. Our world designer and our lead world designer and our lead artist have been with me since like a few months into my journey. Incredibly talented people, and it's been amazing to it's been amazing to see their growth and all of our growth together, and to see what we've built over the years. Obviously supported by incredible people under them and beside them. Yeah. Great job, Ravendawn team. Thanks for the very happy moment. Someone said, how does it feel? I assume you're just referring to like game being live and stuff. Surreal, I'll say that much. The first like week, 5 days to a week, I was like sleeping at like 2-3 hours a night. Most of us were. I'm not the unique case there. And it literally felt like it was just like a surreal dream the whole time. Like all the time. I was like, I'm about to wake up. Like it felt very weird, especially seeing how huge we became. When we did not expect to be as big as we were. We knew we had a really cool game, but we also knew it was very much a niche game, and we knew because that a lot of people just would never try it, and that is fine. And we knew that. We're not naive to that, but we wanted to make a game that we really felt should be made, and we're glad that it's been appreciated a lot more than we ever expected. And it has been very surreal. It's still surreal. Like, it's still crazy. And it's crazy too, because I know we have like so much more coming. And this is just the start for us. And that's also, you know, really exciting. I've talked about this before, but it is very common in game development that you have a huge ramp up process and then cut like 80% of the team. And after release, the biggest MMORPGs in the world do this. They have a huge ramp up phase, and then they release and they cut most of the team, and they do like kind of small amounts of development here and there. We are the complete opposite. No one was let go when we launched, just because I don't like that industry standard of mass hiring and mass firing. And if anything, like, we are hoping to double our team. Yeah. Where does Raven Quest? I read about it. NFTs. Yeah, so I can talk about that if you guys are curious. We do work in blockchain as well. We have a separate team for that. Just the same idea as how Square Enix, Kipsoft, Ubisoft, they all work in blockchain development too. They just try a lot harder to hide it. So Mike, I'm sure you know, like, obviously Square Enix does a lot of blockchain development. In the end of the day, I still love the Final Fantasy games. If you don't like blockchain games, just don't touch it. It's totally fine. In the end of the day, you know, we keep the communities completely separate. We never interject them at all. We never cross advertise them at all, because we know in the end of the day, Web 2 gamers or traditional gamers versus blockchain gamers or Web 3 gamers, whatever terminology you prefer, are very different. We know that. We have people in our studio that are very passionate about blockchain gaming, and they think it's very cool, and they think there's a lot of cool possibilities. We also have people in the studio that just don't like it. And that is why we have different teams, and we understand that they are very different. But in the end of the day, truth is, pretty much every big studio in the world and small studio in the world has teams that work in that. Again, Square Enix is a good one to mention. Kipsoft is a good one to mention. Ubisoft is a good one to mention. They just work really hard to hide it, where we don't believe in that. We want to be open about the stuff that we work on. And I want to be super clear, guys. We understand that some people hate those types of games, and you are 100% allowed to hate those types of games. I understand that market is really depressing at times, in the sense that there are a lot of scams, and that sucks. I hope you guys know that the reason why we're open about it is because we're not doing that, obviously. I think that goes without saying. If we wanted to do cash grabby shit, we could sell Raven packs. There's a lot of shit we could do that we just don't believe in. But in the end of the day, there are interesting elements to those types of games, and there are things that it opens up, whether people want to admit to that or not. And that is why, again, the biggest studios in the world, like Square Enix, Kipsoft, Ubisoft, why they also have blockchain teams. And I think that is totally fine. I don't think that someone should boycott playing Final Fantasy 14 because Square Enix has a blockchain team. I think if there's a part of that studio and that team that's like, we really love blockchain development, they should be allowed to work in blockchain development, especially if they're able to get funding for it, right? I think that should be totally fine. But I also understand if you're like, I'm never playing Final Fantasy 14 because Square Enix works in blockchain. I get that. If you feel the same way with us, that's totally fine. In the end of the day, we'll be very transparent about it. And we've always been very transparent about it. And yeah. Yeah, sorry, I know I say Kipsoft wrong. I know it's Sipsoft. But as a Canadian, I just say Kip. Anyways, also, if anyone ever has like questions about anything related to that, please feel free anytime. Yeah. Any news about the Ravendawn category on YouTube? We have a rep with them. It's kind of hilarious. When we first talked to them, they were like, oh no, there's nothing we can do. It's all AI driven. And we're like, okay. Now, suddenly their reps are more than happy to help work with us. Probably because we're getting a shit ton of views and a lot of videos made about us. And so we are working on it, but you can imagine things with YouTube take a while. Yeah. Oh, how did this game come from RavenQuest? It did not come from RavenQuest, actually. Why no Steam? I've answered this so many times. There will likely be Steam in the future. We have already been approved. However, Steam takes 30% of all revenue off the top. That is not including the other taxes you have to pay off that. We understand it brings a new market. There's a reason why BDO, Albion, most of these big MMORPGs release on Steam a year, 2 years after their release. Because if you do have an organic market, it is kind of stupid to right away go straight to Steam. If you are just trying to get a following, Steam is great. Or certain types of games also sell great on or go great on Steam. And but there's a reason why a lot of MMORPGs are never on Steam, and there's a reason why most that are go on Steam later. And that is the model that we will likely do. Is go on Steam at a later date, because it does bring in a different audience, but it also is weird to bring your organic audience of a few 100,000 people over to Steam right away on the get-go and just say, hey, take 30% of our revenue. I know we already built this audience, but you guys should have it. It's very weird. Again, Steam does bring a lot of another big audience, and that's why it does make a lot of sense to release later on Steam. Is Albion a big MMORPG? I would say Albion's a pretty big MMORPG. Yeah, I would say it's a pretty big MMORPG. It's crazy to see that it wasn't when it released, and it's consistently grown. But Albion's a pretty big MMORPG. How many secrets are there in Ravendawn? All the secrets. By the way, guys, we are live. I just want everyone to know that. But if there's still 3,000 people hanging out here, I'm happy to keep chatting for a bit more, okay? I will host another streamer when this is done. Yeah. Also, some people are just saying buying patron in game, you have to get 2 of the cheap bundles. You can just buy it on the website if you prefer. That is totally fine. It is very hard to make like coin increments that will cover everything, because you guys got to remember, while we don't have a lot in the shop right now, because at the end of the day, our focus was on releasing a good game, not just flooding the fucking shop like most games do. We will have more things coming to that, right? And it is like, at the end of the day, it is impossible to make every coin bundle perfectly for every single thing in the shop. But especially as we add more things, like we already have things that we want to add with time, and we know what those price points are, and that is why we priced the bundles at the ways that we did. But we also understand that there are some things that's like, oh man, I get this coin back and I have to spend another $5 to get this thing that I want. We understand that's frustrating, and if you feel that way with Patreon, just go on the website and buy it directly. There's a reason why we added it into the website instead of forcing you to buy it this way with coins. So I hope you guys understand that. Like, I feel like oftentimes we get flack for stuff that feels really like unfair, especially when we are constantly going the opposite way to show you guys that is not our intention. Yeah. Will there ever be mini games coming later? There are lots of mini games coming later. I will tease one, because I did say I would tease one thing. We will very likely, I gotta say very likely, I can't say we will. We will very likely have MOA racing. Yeah. And a lot of other mini games too, but. Talk about legacy ultimate skills. I have talked about these so much. I don't think I should talk about them again. I've talked about them so much, and there's also news posts about them. There's, I think, like every live stream has a section where I talk about them. Yeah. Do you have an idea when you'll start going through job apps? I may or may not have applied, so I'm going to assume you have not applied. No, I'm kidding. We have a lot to go through. So just be patient with us. Obviously, that's not like top priority right now. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I have to go through all the approved ones anyways, which I will not be able to get to for a bit. Just to be clear, like we plan to scale up a lot, guys, but we need to do that the right way. And with that, that involves going through a lot of applications. So please don't be upset. I've said this kind of every stream when I say, like, if you're looking for a position, please apply. Please don't be upset if some time goes by and you never get a response, some time goes by and you don't get a response. We're just incredibly busy. And when we do go through the process, like the first thing we will do is reach out to like the top candidates, go through those. And if they're not good fits, we'll kind of work our way down the list. And so it will, if you are not accepted, it will take some time to get a response. We do try to respond to every single one at the point that we know if they are accepted or not. And so, but please understand that like we have a lot more eyes on us than we ever could have imagined. The industry is having a lot of layoffs. And so with that, we are getting a lot of applications from big studios and with that just takes time, right, to go through. So. Is this Tibia too? You can dub it whatever you want, but no, we are not affiliated with Sipsoft in any way. Can you make housing ownership only available for patrons? Probably not, no. Tibia, Arcade, Final Fantasy 2. Yeah, there we go. You nailed it. Instance PvP arenas. Check our roadmap. It's already on our roadmap. Are you planning on adding some risk for PK players? Right now they can kill whoever they want. They don't lose anything. That's not true, actually. That is just objectively incorrect, but... when will you guys improve the chat UI? They are currently doing a redesign for it. We are doing like a full redo of the chat UI because it is, we just felt it needed to pretty much get a full revamp. There's just too many issues with it that we're not happy about. I think this was like the only UI that throughout development we were like, we didn't love. We just like, we weren't like super excited about it. Don't get me wrong. Like I think even the best UIs in the world, there's always like little improvements you can make here and there. And that's normal. Like, and it's normal, especially after you've had to implement for a while to find more things. But that's like the one that I think even when we did it, we were like, you know what? We definitely can improve this. Guys, just because a certain quest, you haven't figured it out, doesn't mean it's bugged. There's a certain quest in the game that only a few people have figured out, and it's been hilarious to watch groups of like 100 freak out saying that it's bugged when it is not. They just have not solved the quest. It is okay for a game to not handhold you through every quest in the game. It is okay that the later in the game you get, the harder things get and the more mystery there's to things, the more confusing things are. That is okay. Lighthouse Gang, there you go. I just talked about a Steam release about 10 minutes ago. So if you go on YouTube, you can just go back in the VOD. Will you be able to ever transfer a character from one server to another or not possible? We might add this in the future. I don't know. Like that is something that we have not even explored. There are probably a million pros and cons that we'd have to go through. It is like, I know some people would be like, oh my God, yes. Some would probably be like, oh my God, no, because of X, Y, and Z. So we haven't even gone through this yet. I'm just saying that it would like, we haven't said no, we haven't said yes. The reason why obviously we would not have it for the near future is because obviously each server has different progression right now because Angerhorn did release a day earlier. How long did I play Tibia? I played Tibia for like on and off, like 15 years or something, I think. No, a little bit less. Like 11 years. No, 12, something like that. Will Ravendawn launch mobile? Yes, we do have plans. We were originally gonna do it in-house. With how much we've grown, we now are looking for a studio to develop our mobile side, because we just do not have enough time to do it. Yeah. Again, now Spanish. We hope to in the future. Yeah. Have you played Ultima Online? I did play Ultima Online. Not a ton though. I think I was only able to stomach one weird perspective at a time. No, I know. I think you kind of played Ultima, RuneScape, or Tibia for most people. And I'm one of the weird Canadians that played Tibia. So most played RuneScape. What world did you play on in Tibia? I played like on multiple worlds. Hiberna was the one that I played on the longest. A lot of like huge names on that one, obviously, with like Charlie Root and stuff. Like I think still like the biggest war, or at least at the time, the biggest war was with goddamn Cruel Judgment, CJ, and can't remember the other one. I think that was on Hiberna. I was on like Hiberna and then two others that I don't remember as well. Hiberna's like the one that's like engraved in my mind because it was the first one I ever played. First world I ever played on. I still get so many people in the chat. They're like, oh, you never played this game. So I hope times like this, I'm showing my street cred. Can you give your own perspective on pay to win in MMORPGs? Bruce, do you mind like expanding on that? Like what part of my perspective on pay to win MMORPGs? Oh, several people are asking the same question. So if you can give like context, I'm happy to answer. Flight video, tanks. What? Sorry, I don't know what you're asking. What happens with houses that ban people? They will eventually open up. Yes. Basically, next time that they're supposed to pay rent, it'll just default and that land will open up. And we have one thing I want to say, guys. We have banned a lot of people. Okay, we've banned a lot of people. Our DMs and tickets are fucking spammed all the time by people banned for botting. Sorry, someone wanted to ask a question on my thoughts on pay to win in MMORPGs. Whoever that was, if there's any mod, can you grab what their follow-up was? Because I'm going to miss it because there's too many people asking follow-ups. Sorry, because I do want to answer that, but I want to talk on one quick thing first. Actually, whoever asked that, no one else message me or I will block you. Okay. I will indefinitely block you. But whoever asked that I asked for more context on what my thoughts on pay to win and MMORPGs are, you can message me on Discord. I do have message requests. They go to like, I have to accept or ignore them. But if you can just message me out on Discord, and I will get back to that. Cause one thing I want to mention, guys, our banning, is retroactive. So if you think you are incredibly clever because you are able to find a way to set up a macro and cheat or inject a bot and cheat, please understand that just because you can do that does not mean you're going to get away with doing that. In the end of the day, there are some great pieces of software like BattleEye and stuff that can make it hard to do that kind of stuff. Obviously, there's thousands of bots that go around it. Anyone who doesn't know that is crazy. But there are better ways to catch botters nowadays than stopping them from the injection point, if that makes sense. There are much better ways to do it. So you may think you're super clever because you're able to inject a super rudimentary simple bot or set up a little macro thing. Is macro the same as botting? It is. If you are not actively playing, we consider that cheating. If you are using something to play for you. But that kind of goes back to just because you're able to inject something or because you see a video of someone sharing themselves inject something and using it, do not think that this player the next hour or the next day or maybe a week is permanently banned. To be clear, we like to go through a lot of these cases and confirm what we get sent, the information that we are provided. I won't share necessarily how, but with that, just because someone is able to do it does not mean that they are getting away with it. Just to be clear, we are banning a fuck ton of people and it always results in the same thing. Someone say, oh my God, I watched a video and I wanted to I wanted to do what they were doing because they said how easy it is, and then I did it, and now I'm permanently banned, and it was the first time cheating in a game, and it doesn't matter. Like, you can send us all those messages you want. Unfortunately, we ignore them now. We don't even respond to them anymore. So you and my DMs get blown up because people get upset because they got permanently banned for cheating. You know what you're doing though when you download a bot, when you inject a bot, when you use a macro. You know what you're doing. You're not stupid. Do you have any plans to have an API to create add-ons like WoW? Definitely, yeah. It's just we just don't have time to do that right now, but deciphering your mysteries has been a ton of fun. Well done. Thank you. Appreciate that. I know the quest design team likes to go a little crazy. What do you think about adding channels for separate regions? Like having channels on the same world, but unfortunately that's not possible. All of our channels have to be able to communicate with each other in a rapid pace. They're actually all like literally hooked up together in data centers. They're not even like, they're like in the same area. That is required for the way that our saving works and the way that the channels communicate. Otherwise, yeah, we would love to do something like that. That'd be such a cool way to do it. It's just unfortunately not possible. Much love from Germany. Thank you. Appreciate that. My mom is Austrian, so my mom is Austrian, my dad was Dutch. And so I've been to Germany many times, as you can imagine, being right in the middle of the two. Yeah. So you guys are going to be the first MMO on planet Earth without a server on EU. I was going to ask that really snarky. Albion Online doesn't even have a server in EU. They are hosted in the exact same location as us. But I appreciate the, yeah. I think you'll find a lot of AFK botters fishing. Oh yeah. They have Florida servers and a Singapore server. Yeah, the Singapore server is like 6 months old, right? I'm pretty sure they went like 7 years with only North American servers. I think they just added the Singapore one recently. I know because they had like a huge boom in players, which is sick. And yeah. Have you considered adding jumping to the game? I do not think we would add jumping to the game. If bans are retroactive, what are you doing with the botters, macro players that send stuff to other accounts? Do you not think, sorry, I don't mean to be snarky, but sometimes it's like fun. I hope you don't take like offense to it because it's a super fair question. We know how to track where things go from and to. That is very simple for us to track. Fixes you don't auto sell items. You don't auto sell items. We don't even have a sell all option, which is what most people ask for, to be honest. You actually have to manually sell every single item. So if you knew the game would have been such a huge success, you could have started with all regions. Yeah, no, absolutely. I will say one thing is with EU, yes, infrastructure is very easy. OVH has amazing infrastructure in EU. That is more related to what you just said. However, South America is not the same case. South America is very hard to get good infrastructure and reliable infrastructure. It is very difficult. To the point that it makes almost more sense to set up your own infrastructure down there. Collector junk having an alternate use is kind of annoying. Yeah, so this will be changed. The items that have any other use other than just being vendored, they will be removed from the collector. It just takes us a little bit of time, guys. Again, we have so many priorities right now, but we do totally agree that one, they shouldn't. I'm pretty sure the way it was done is they were actually added to it first, and then they got other uses for those items, and that's why it was kind of missed. But we will be changing that. We apologize, but we agree that's annoying. Want to severely increase the weekly housing costs? We might. We've been exploring the idea of like a dynamic housing price based on supply and demand, or housing rent. Sorry, but that will be in the future. That will be in the future. What is the ultimate goal of yours that you hope to come true in the future? I mean, be the biggest MMORPG in the world, but yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I could say like more realistic goals, but yeah, let's set a goal to hit 1 million players within 30 days. Let's make that our goal, or less. Let's make it less. Let's make it. Dude, all the like, I don't even. The days and dates have just blended together in my head. I have no clue what's going on. Let's say, yeah. No. People that scalp on the market, we don't believe should be banned. Just because someone buys something low and sells something higher, we think that's kind of half the point of a marketplace in a game, to be honest, is that some people will be good on it and some people will just go and quickly list something. I don't think that people that buy something lower and sell it high should be banned for that. Otherwise, I think you just remove a marketplace. I think you just literally have NPCs that buy everything, which I think is really boring. Bandit, show the pup. My door is closed right now. Otherwise, I would call him. But he also, like, Bandit, like, he's not like Cooper. Like, Cooper will jump up on my lap immediately. Bandit, like, won't do that. He's just, like, he loves to, like, cuddle and stuff, but he doesn't like to, like, jump up on someone that's in a chair. He just, like, if you're on, like, a couch or whatever, he will. Oh, my fiance's bringing him. Come, Bandit. Come, Bandit. Come here, buddy. She brought him in because she's probably watching the stream. Cooper, come up, come up, come up, come up, come up. So this one's, oh, there we go. Now you can see Cooper. This is the younger one. So he loves to go up on laps. And this one is Bandit. I'll pick him up. Most of you guys have seen him before, but I'll pick him up so you guys can see him again. There you go. Oh, there's Cooper knocking over lighting. Good job, buddy. Oh. This one's fine. He's not as, it's him. Yes, this is the tutorial dog. IRL Bandit, he's real, yes, correct. That is the tutorial dog. So anyone who talks shit about him, or says my tutorial is bugged, you, go Bandit. Why almost every mob has a range skill? They have this only if you are a certain distance away from them. The reason why is pretty much for balance reasons. Yeah. Please make escape clear targeting. Yeah, we have, it's in our to-do list. Okay, guys, we've done a much longer stream than expected. You guys go play. We don't need to do any more chats. I'm going to host somebody or raid somebody. This time I'm not going to forget. Again, guys, I'm really sorry if you are if you are watching and you're hoping that I will raid you. I can only raid one person at a time. I'm going to try and raid somebody that I haven't raided before. And I'm also, there's somebody that I want to raid. You guys will probably know who he is, but based on me saying this, but he's been streaming for almost like 27 hours straight right now. I'll raid him next time or at a time when he's at a little bit lower hours, because I can't imagine he probably, this guy's an animal, so he probably still has a few hours in him. But I'm going to push you to someone who is a little bit less hours streamed so far, also a lot of hours, but I'm going to send you guys over. God, I actually don't know how to say his name because there's an X on the end. I don't know if you're supposed to say that. I'm going to send you over to Poe. Pox. Oh no, it's probably Pox, right? Oh my God. Oh shit, man. The weirdest part is, as soon as I said out, Yeah, Pox. There we go. As soon as I said it, I was like, I'm pretty sure I do know it's Pox. I don't even know why I thought for a second it was Poe. I think my mind's actually just melted. Because as soon as I said it, I was like, oh yeah, it's Pox. My bad. Anyways, boo. Yeah, there you go. And I'm gonna send you guys over to him. We've never rated him before, and he's awesome. But I also just want to shout out a few other creators, like Jonah Vale's awesome as well. I watch a lot of both these guys pretty much just on the background while I'm working on stuff. I'm kind of always cycling through streamers and trying to like answer some questions when I hear them, or just like listening for things that they talk about, like complaints, stuff like that. So I pick up on those things and I just make notes kind of the whole day. Or whenever I'm in the gym, I'm literally, I always have one of them on. I'm just like watching the things they do and stuff to kind of make notes. Jonah Vale, Pox, both amazing English creators. Yeah, I mean, and again, the King Labosi, as you guys all know, if you guys are Portuguese, I understand that a lot of people here speak all different languages, Polish, English, Portuguese. So if you're not, you know, like an English creator, I understand, but just go give them some love. Say what up from us, and hope you guys have a good day. Have a lot of fun playing Ravendawn, guys. We got a lot of fun stuff coming. Just give us time, okay? I hope we've proven over the last 2 weeks that, you know, we are getting stuff done. We are fixing things. Anyone who was here on launch, you guys know where we were at and where we're at now. And we will continue to work this hard. No pay to win, please, man. You got it. Lock it in. It's so funny how many messages I get, people asking for pay to win though, because a lot of people are just used to it. And a lot of people do want it, right? And every time I'm like, sorry, I'm sorry. Like people literally come on my DMs and like, we'll drop 10K tomorrow if you ask something pay to win that we can just burn money on. And I'm like, listen, that means a lot to me. Go buy 100 Trailblazer packs. They of course don't. But appreciate those guys. Awesome. Okay, gonna go raid Poe now that a few hundred of you left. Thanks, guys. Have fun. Let me just make sure I don't do it wrong, because I always do it wrong. I always stop stream before or whatever. GG, thanks for the stream. Yeah, it's fun, man. It's fun. Hunting in a party feels slow. Check our latest news post on the website. We have a party EXP buff coming. Okay, raid is going. Oh, shit. Okay. Sending you guys over. It's still going up, but it kind of slows down a ton. Yeah, I'm sending you guys. Bye. See you.